Zuckerberg creates the Metaverse so the Antichrist can use it. The term Metaverse is the latest buzzword in the tech industry. It's so popular that one of the best-known internet platforms, Facebook, rebranded themselves to signal their embrace of this futuristic idea yesterday. Zuckerberg's company was Facebook, and today it's Meta. That's how quickly the world around us is changing. And that's why we're talking about this Metaverse and how it might be used by the Antichrist on this latest edition of Last Days Breaking News with Nelson Walters. So what is this Metaverse? Think of it as the internet brought to life, or at least rendered in 3D. Zuckerberg has described it as a, quote, virtual environment you can go inside, of using virtual reality glasses to be able to live in this environment, where you can go to a store and try on clothes, go to your work meetings, or play your latest online game and actually be part of it. Essentially, it's an interconnected virtual world where people can meet, work, and play and leave the real world behind for the most part. And that's the dangerous part. Victoria Petrock, an analyst who follows emerging technologies, had this to say about the Metaverse. It's the next evolution of connectivity, where all those things start to come together in a seamless doppelganger universe. So you're living your virtual life the same way you're living your physical life. What will I be able to do in the Metaverse, you might ask? Things like go to a virtual concert, take a trip online and feel like you're really there, or maybe go to a store, as we said, and try on clothing. Maybe you can't paint in real life, but in the Metaverse, you might be able to create artwork or sing like your favorite rock star. Maybe in real life, you aren't athletic, but in the Metaverse, maybe you can play quarterback for your favorite football team. Maybe in real life, you're overweight and not that pretty, but your avatar in the Metaverse can be a 10. Can you see how attractive this Metaverse could be? The Metaverse could also be a game changer for the work from home shift that's taking place in our society. Instead of seeing coworkers on video, the Zoom grid that we're all tired of, employees could join each other in a virtual office. You could virtually walk into someone's office and strike up a conversation with their better than they really are avatar. Facebook has launched a meeting software for companies called Horizon Workrooms to use with its Oculus VR headsets. So some of this is already happening. You can see why companies like Facebook, I guess I should say Meta, would be interested in dominating a technology like this. Zuckerberg explained why the name Meta was chosen for his new company. For those of you who study Greek, Meta is a common Greek preposition found throughout the Old Testament. Here's what Zuckerberg said.
I used to love studying classics, and the word meta comes from the Greek word meaning beyond. For me, it symbolizes that there is always more to build. There is always a next chapter to the story.
The word more properly means among, with, or after, as in Revelation 4:1, where the words metatauta are used, after these things. And so I think this is a very appropriate name for where this is all going. After reality or beyond reality, meta-reality is virtual reality, which for Christians is a very scary thought. We were saved in reality by Jesus Christ, who died on a cross for our very real sins and made us into new creations who are very real new creations, not virtual creations. If social media is addicting, can you imagine how much more addicting this Metaverse could be? If you are better looking, smarter, faster, and can go anywhere in an instant in the Metaverse, why would you want to live your real life anymore? Wouldn't you want to spend all your time in the Metaverse and not in the universe? And this explains what the next step will be in all this, doesn't it? If you can live As this far superior avatar in the metaverse, why not just connect your mind to the computer controlling the metaverse and connect it forever? People will ask, why live your real life anymore? And here is where the Antichrist enters the picture. The Antichrist, you might say, what does the Antichrist have to do with the metaverse? Well, maybe very little at first, but he may have a lot to do with the concept of connecting human brains to the internet. This might be the infamous image of the beast that we read about in Revelation 13. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. Now, how might this image of the beast be something as nebulous as connecting human minds to the internet? Rather than a statue, isn't that what everyone expects? Well, let's see. Known as the Human Brain Cloud Interface, researchers at the Institute for Molecular Manufacturing in California have suggested that nanorobots could be injected into the human body and connect to a network in real time. The study's senior author, Robert Freitas, said these devices would navigate the human vasculature, cross the blood-brain barrier, and precisely auto-position themselves among or even within human cells. Scientists believe this will be possible in the next 10 years, taking what's science fiction today and maybe making it science fact. Although this idea would theoretically allow people to simply think of a question and then have it answered instantly, as opposed to looking it up in a search engine, and I'm sure that's how it will be sold. The real issue is whether the AI would then start doing the thinking for the person, placing thoughts into the brain of the person. Christians, of course, are to have the mind of Christ. But in contrast, this would truly be the mind of the beast. If this AI is controlled by the mind of the Antichrist, who claims to be God, well, the beast's followers would claim you are connecting yourself to this false God. It would be a technological attempt to connect, much like the Holy Spirit, in reality, does connect believers. People question how taking the mark and worshiping the image are unforgivable sins. This would explain it, wouldn't it? Having your thoughts come from outside your own head would eliminate the idea of repentance or placing your faith in God. It would be permanent damnation. It would also give AI access to 1 billion eyes and ears anywhere there are people's brains connected to the internet. And the AI would be able to see and hear, like 1 billion cameras walking around. This image, if it was also connected to 1 billion mechanical cameras in addition on street corners through a 5G or by then even a 6G network, it might make sense out of this quote from the Quran. This quote speaks of how Islamists will know that there is a Jew hiding behind a rock or tree. O Muslim, O servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him. People are usually so incensed by the horror of the genocide implied by this passage, they don't even consider how it might be accomplished if it were to come true. Such a network, connecting cameras to humans and vice versa, could make it a reality. People wonder where the voice is that's coming that's telling Muslims where the Jews are. It might be within their own minds, connected to the internet. A truly horrifying concept. And the image could then speak through these billion mouths. Imagine the blasphemy of 1 billion mouths speaking against the one true God all at one time. That is one of our difficult questions potentially answered. And almost more importantly, this could also explain how the image of the beast could be given breath. Another of our very difficult questions. We read that the image is given breath by the false prophet in Revelation 13:15. Only God, of course, can give the breath of life as creator of all. But if the image is connected to the minds of most people on earth who already have that breath given to them, the image of the beast could be given their breath. It is given the lives of these people, so to speak. That being given breath has always been one of the most difficult concepts in understanding the image of the beast. This technological way of connecting man to a man-made object answers that objection as well. And in a strange way, each individual human so connected would be an individual image of the beast, just as every Christian is currently the image of their Creator. And we learn in Revelation that the image of the beast causes everyone who does not worship the image of the beast to be killed. This is our third difficult question. The Greek word worship is proskuneo, which sounds like prostate, which is exactly what it means, to bow down and kiss the ground before the beast, much as Muslims practice in their 5 daily prayers. It's impossible for a hologram or a statue to do this, but it is easy to see how this could happen if 1 billion humans and 1 billion other cameras are connected to the AI. The AI would instantly know who wasn't connected and who wasn't bowing, and could have its minions either convert them or kill them. The passage in Revelation 13 clearly says it is the image causing them to be killed. How else could this happen on a worldwide basis unless the image can act at such a distance? Unless everyone who takes this becomes an image of the beast. Regardless of whether the image of the beast is one of these 3 choices or a combination of all 3 or even something else, the mark of the beast seems to be established in place along with the image. The mark, the image, and worship of the beast are never separated in any context. It's all 3 all at once. Let's look at these passages. And it was given to him to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast can even speak, and cause all who do not worship the image of the beast to be killed. And he causes all to receive a mark on their right hands and on their foreheads. All 3 are there. Image, worship, mark. Revelation 19 has all 3 as well, as we can see on the screen. Mark, worship, image. So does Revelation 14:9. The same 3 things. Worship, image, mark. So does Revelation 14:11. Same 3 things. Image, mark, and worship. So does Revelation 16:2. It's the mark, it's the worship, and its image. Revelation 24, also the same 3 in combination. Worship, image, and mark. We always tend to think of the mark, the image, and worship as being separate things, but obviously from these passages, they are not. There are several important implications. First, the mark of the beast and the image seem to be implemented together. So if you are thinking something as simple as a chip or a vaccine is the mark, without the image and worship of the image being present, it isn't the real mark. It could be a predecessor, but it isn't the real thing. Second, if the image of the beast truly is a connection to the internet, the mark may be associated with that connection in some way. Perhaps it's a receiver, or maybe it's the way the microbots enter the body. I mean, who knows? We probably aren't technologically advanced enough to know that right now, but we should consider these possibilities. It should also make us consider other prophecies in light of this understanding. For instance, one of the strangest prophecies in the Bible is the prophecy about the toes of Nebuchadnezzar's dream statue being clay and iron mixed. Can you see how this theory might fit with that prophecy? As you saw, the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in the seed of men. This would be a literal mixing of clay, which is human flesh, and machine, which is iron. As we saw, the mark of the beast is in some ways connected to the image of the beast. So what is the mark of the beast? What did an Israelite at the time Revelation was written think it meant? What are the meanings of the words in Hebrew that John wrote down in Greek? And did the Old Testament give us a clue about this? Click right here to keep watching and discover the answers to those questions and others about what the mark of the beast would have meant to someone in the first century. Till then, this is Nelson, and I'll see you there.